Folks, we're going to get started now. My name is Akiva Feinstein, and it's an honor to be here, officiating at the service of Roma, Shapiro, our beloved mom, grandma, sister, and friend. We all have many special memories of her. We certainly remember her as a lady with a quiet strength, with a lot of fun and a real spark, a real enthusiasm and real caring for people. A person who didn't like to bother other people and just took care of what she needed to do. It's remarkable that we have people who have traveled so far from a long way to pay her respects, that we have friends of hers for many, many decades. So in the Jewish tradition, we have her present in a physical way, but we know spiritually she's with us also. She's hearing the words that we're saying today. She's saying to herself, wow, all of these hard works that I did in my life and all of my great efforts and the way that I clung onto my family and my friends was so worth it, because here they are today remembering me and acknowledging me and thanking me. After all these 82 years on this planet, I've made such a big difference and been so important to so many people. We're going to start now with a selection from the Psalms. Psalm 23 is going to be sung by our cantor Gary Paller.
גם כי אלך בגץ על מוות, לא אירא רק כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני, שולחן נגד צוררי, דשנת ושמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, כל ימי חיי. ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. אדוני אלוהי לא אחסר, אדוני אלוהי לא
So we say in English, a Psalm of David God is my shepherd, I shall not lack. In lush meadows he lays me down. Beside tranquil waters he leads me. He restores my soul. He leads me on paths of justice for his name's sake. Though I walk in the valley overshadowed by death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in view of my torments. You anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long days. It's also our custom to read what is called the Eshet Chayil, the Woman of Valor. It's a selection from the Proverbs and follows the order of the alphabet and talks about the many, many special traits of the woman of valor. And the custom is at the Friday night Shabbat table, we sing it to the wife, to the mother, to give thanks to her for all she has done for her family. Eshes Chayil miyimtza v'rachok mipninim michrot batach balev bala v'shalo lo yekzar gemalsu tov v'lo ra kol yemei chayecha darshat zemer ufishtim betas behapetz kapecha haisa keni yoisaicher mimerchak tavi lachma betacham biyod laila Bititim teref levesa v'chok narosecha zamama sadeh v'tikachechu mipri kapech natukarem hagra be'oz masnecha v'tametz rosecha tama kitov sachra lo yechbe v'layla neira yadecha shilcha v'kishor v'kapecha samchu fale kappa parsa liyani ve'yadecha shilcha li'evyon l'sira mi'besa mishaleg Kikol besa levushanim, marvadi masasala, sheish vargaman levusha, noda bisharim bala, bishifto ihim zikne aret sadi masasavetimkor, vechagdunasnu kanani, oz vahadar levusha, betischok leyayim acharon, picha pascha vehachma, besairas chesed al ishoyna hatzviya halicha ispesa, belechem al suslo sochel, Kamu vanecha v'yeshura, bala v'yehala rabus banu sasu chayil, v'yatali sakulana, sheker achein v'hevel hayofi, isha yiras adonai, itis halel tenula, mipri yadecha, v'halalucha, v'sharim masecha. An accomplished woman who can find far beyond pearls is her value. Her husband's heart relies on her, and he shall lack no fortune. She repays his good, but never his harm, all the days of her life. She seeks out wool and linen, and her hands work willingly. She is like a merchant ship, from afar she brings sustenance. She rides as well as nighttime, and gives food to her household, and a ration to her maidens. She envisions a field and buys it. From the fruit of her handiwork she plants a vineyard. With strength she girds her loins and invigorates her arms. She discerns her enterprise is good. She spreads out her palm to the poor and extends her hands to the destitute. She fears not snow, for her household is clothed with scarlet wool. She makes a cloak to sell and delivers a belt to the peddler. Strength and majesty are her raiment. She joyfully awaits the last day. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and a lesson of kindness is on her tongue. She anticipates the ways of her household and partakes not of the bread of laziness. Her children arise and praise her. Her husband, he lauds her. Many daughters have amassed achievement, but you have surpassed them all. False is grace and vain is beauty. A God-fearing woman, she should be praised. Give her the fruits of her hands, and let her be praised in the gates by her very own deeds. To talk about Roma's life, the main theme seems to be to keep it simple. The theme of her life seemed to be, you have your joy, you enjoy your life, you take care of your business, you take care of your family, be good to your friends, but you don't have to make a big fuss about it. You just do the right thing because it's the right thing, not because people are looking, not because of the attention. You just do it because you care and you love. And to me, as a person who didn't know her as well, that seems to be one of the trends of her life. She was born May 4th, 1939, in Shaker Heights to Edward and Hortense Sims. She had two brothers, one of which is just on his way over here, and we're very privileged that he can be with us here today. And as a kid, she had a regular growing up, regular childhood. She had fun. She enjoyed her times with her family, having her two brothers. and having her grandparents in her life as well. She was a good student, a smart young lady, and she went on to Ohio State University to study. And after Ohio State, she went on to something that was her passion, something she loved so much, which was teaching. And we have with us here today a few of her co-teachers, and all of them said what a dedicated person she was. She loved those second graders. She loved her job. And to take that grade and to make it into something as she did took a lot of energy and a lot of effort. She didn't like a lot of attention. She didn't like a lot of whatever, but that was very, very important to her. But the main thing that was important to her was her family. She made sure that her family always came first. Whichever job she held, it was always in the context of what does Mark need, what does Darcy need, what does her husband need. She was a teacher for 10 years, and she went on to do something a little bit more practical, a little bit more financially solid, which was a real estate agent. And she loved that as well. She spent more than 25 years with Howard Hanna and helped a lot of people, new buyers, older buyers, to find their future home, to find their place in Cleveland. She wasn't as involved in organizations. Again, her main focus was her kids, her family, taking care of the business that she was, put on this earth to do. She took good care of her husband, and the two of them had a lot of good times together. The family liked to travel, and as Mark told me, they went on a lot of road trips. And some of those road trips were in practical cars, and some sound like they were in convertibles as well. They went as far as California, they went to Florida, they went to Toronto. The whole family sticking together and having a simple, good time together. That's what they enjoyed. She made sure everyone was happy by not only taking care of the needs of life, but the food needs were very important too. She was a very good cook, but she also knew how to zoom in on what the kids liked and what her family liked. She was able to spend time making sure that her cheese sandwiches for Mark were just perfect. The right amount of cheese, the right amount of grilling. And she kept it simple. She kept it to the things that you guys enjoyed. The cherry cakes and the noodle kugels were some of her favorite things that she used to like to do. She didn't like to draw a lot of attention to herself. She didn't ask for a lot of things that she needed. And even later in her life, when life got a little harder for her, she was a caregiver for her husband. Her own illness was difficult. But she found the time to come out to California and to visit the family, even though it was a great effort. At times she wasn't able to walk and be there as independent as she could have, but she toughed it out. And she was able to see, she was able to get nachas, and she was able to see, how lovely her family turned out. The kind of mom that Darcy became, and her spouse, who's such a good guy, and Jason is always behind the scenes taking care of business and making sure everything's okay, and making sure Darcy and the family can do what they need to do because he has everything covered. So I'm sure that gave her a lot of joy, and especially to see, her two grandchildren grow up, to see, how they became, and in a good image, Delaney and Duncan. These guys are young guys, but you guys look so responsible and caring and connected, and obviously you're being there at the time I saw you when you were in Montefiore, and on those various trips, just hearing grandma say how all the good things that you guys have done, what kind of people you've become. You guys are her next generation. You are her eternity, from generation to generation, as we say. Her last few years were difficult. She struggled with an illness that at first was not well understood and well known. And like many people with ALS, they think it's this, they think it's that. They try this thing, they try that thing, and it doesn't usually work. And it's often towards more of the end that they know exactly what it is. But she dealt with it with a strength, with a confidence, with not wanting to bother people. Her caregivers would always say what a good person she was, how much respect and appreciation she gave to them, and how she tried to make it for them as simple as possible. And even in the midst of her own illness, she lost her husband in this almost similar circumstances about a year or so ago today. And she really showed us that life is not easy. Life can be very tough, but you can be strong, you can have confidence, you can even laugh a little bit, you can even smile a little bit. You can still be happy if you just keep the right focus and the right personality. So I wish I would have known her better, but she sure taught us a lot. She taught us a lot about dealing with life and life's adversities. But the main pleasure I think she will get is not from these few words that I shared today, but from the words of eulogy, from the words of praise that she has from her own children, grandchildren, and some of you out there on the Zoom. So this time I'm going to invite Darcy to come up and to say a few words, please.
My mom was a wonderful mom. When she was first diagnosed with ALS, she kept it quite private. She never wanted to be a burden to anyone. Throughout the last 4 years battling this awful disease that it is, she never really complained. Her selflessness didn't just show up after her diagnosis. She's been this way her whole life, always putting others first. She was a pretty laid-back mom growing up, luckily for me. She always had a sweet, sweet tooth and stocked the house with lots of teenage goodies. My house was the place to hang after school, and she loved it and having all my friends there to get to know them. She threw me great birthday parties when I was younger and made great cakes or cupcakes and decorated the house or party spot. I took those great experiences and passed them on to my kids for their birthday parties. When it came time for my wedding, she had so much fun organizing and planning it with me. Shopping for my wedding gown with her is an experience I'll cherish forever. She really loved working in real estate, where she made and maintained so many friends with coworkers and clients. She also loved traveling, and we were fortunate to be able to travel with them to Israel, South America, Mexico, Hawaii, different areas of California, and more. My parents loved coming to visit us in California. When my kids were younger, they would come visit at least 2 or 3 times a year. When Delaney was just starting to talk, she began calling my mom Bonka, and it stuck for quite a few years. Bonka loved going with her grandchildren to parks, museums, zoos, and shopping. She also loved reading with them, doing puzzles, playing board games, and cards. Every time we were coming to visit them here in Ohio, she made sure to have our favorite meal waiting for our arrival dinner. Bonka made a mean brisket and kugel. My mom was an all-around great woman, and she will be missed by so many. Thank you, Mom. Love you.
Thank you so much, Darcy. Now her dear son Mark is going to share with us a few words. You're okay, right? Step over here.
My name is Mark, Roma's first child. During a trip with the whole family to visit Darcy and get my mom and dad out of town, and we noticed she was having some trouble walking when we got back to Cleveland, and even a little bit in Oakland. She started having ALS symptoms when she got back home. During her 3.5 years of agony, where she died at home, I made every journey over to the house, either with groceries or other support products. We had nurses which helped out in part, but they couldn't fill the role of my father. Roma was the best mother one could ask for. She was always happy and helpful. She was married for 55 years to a great man. Hopefully they are together again. My friends all liked her as well. That's it.
Mark, let me just move this for you before you go. Make it easier for you. You see there's something right over there?
Yeah.
So one of the sweetest treats for her was always seeing her grandchildren, as we mentioned multiple times. And I don't know how they're able to do it, but they have the strength to read for us a special poem as a tribute to their beloved Banka, or however you pronounce it. So Darcy, Delaney. and Duncan are here to share with us a poem.
Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped into the next room. I am I, and you are you.
Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used.
Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity, we or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together.
Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my home be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the trace of shadow on it.
Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight?
I am waiting for you, for an interval. Somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well.
Thank you very much. And now we just have someone on Zoom who's going to say a few words. Okay, so Larry D, or the wife of Larry D, are you able to speak now? Okay, just give me 1 second just to set up the mic, okay? 1 second, please. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that Mary and I live in Florida now, and we spend a week or so in August, and I feel blessed that when we were there in August, I spent 5 afternoons with Roma, and quite a journey from the hospital to hospice to her home. And I have to tell you all these years that Darcy was a guiding light through this time. And when Roma got into the hospice, in her room, and Larry picked up a document off the desk, and I said, I don't know what this document is. I come along to Roman's bed with her microphone and her loudest voice. She said, it's a real estate, right? A real estate farm.
No, I think. Can we make sure everyone please mute, okay? Except for Larry. I'm going to mute everybody except for Larry D. Okay. Okay, please continue. Please, no one else on mute.
From all the way across the world, verify that it was a real estate document from me away. Because over the years, she signed a lot of real estate documents with me and Larry. And when I kissed her goodbye, when we had to leave, I knew in my heart that this would be a very difficult time. Because I wasn't sure I'd see Roma again. But still with Roma, she was back into the moment I walked out. So she just was an amazing woman of valor.
Okay. Please. Okay, we'll try this one more time. Please do not unmute, folks. Okay, please don't unmute. Thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else on Zoom? At this time, Cantor will share with us a very special song called God Gives and God Takes.
Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach. Adonai natan, v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach. God gave and God took away. Blessed be God's name. God gave and God took away. Blessed be God's name. Adonai natan, v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach. Adonai natan, v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach.
At this time, we'll move to the next part of the service. In this part, we've given our words, our heart, our spirit to praise Roma, talk about what a special person she was, is, and will always be to us. But now our attention turns to the physical needs. In the Jewish tradition, we have a mitzvah of burial. We have a mitzvah to use our own hands to take some of the earth, which is a difficult process, and to surround her with our love and our caring. It's not easy to take the shovel and to place the earth. It's not easy to have all the sounds and experiences, but it's our way of surrounding her with our love and our caring in a physical way. So at this time, we're going to lower the casket. And then after the casket is lowered, we'll ask the immediate family to put a shovel of earth into the vault box. And then we'll place the cover on. And when we place the vault cover on, that's when all of us will take part in this mitzvah. We'll all line up and take a shovel. The custom is to take a shovel, place the earth inside the casket, and then return the shovel to the pile, and the next person pulls it out by themselves. it or leave it?
They're going to move it, but they can go ahead and do that.
All right, so immediate family, Darcy and husband and children and Mark, we're going to go ahead and take a shovel full of earth and place it on top of the casket.
Watch yourselves when you walk over there.
Grandchildren too. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just grab the shovel there.
We'll bring one over.
Yeah,
for
we'll
us.
bring one over. I'll bring a little bit of lace first of all. I'll go ahead and take it. You did yours. Very good. This one we're going to place the vault cover on, and once it's covered, everyone will have a chance to place an open towel. Big shovel and make a line kind of here. Again, you place a shovel full of earth and then put it back in the pile. The next person does the same.
We're going to conclude our service now?
Yeah. Thanks, muted everybody. Just before we close, a few announcements. It should be. Yeah. We're good. Yeah, as well the Zoom. Everything should be okay. Just a quick announcement that we firstly remember, all of the dear family members of hers who are mourning her in her passing. Certainly her two children, Darcy and Mark. Darcy's husband Jason, her beloved son-in-law, and her grandchildren, Delaney and Duncan. Also, we are very graced by the presence of her brother, and we offer him condolences on the passing of his dear sister. Many friends are in the audience, many extended family members, and to all of you, condolences. There's going to be a special gathering at her home, which is located at 9 Saratoga Courts in Beechwood, which is in the village. You just go in and say you're going to the Shiva for Shapiro. And if anyone is so inclined and they want to give donations, they can be done so in memory of Roma. They can be done to the Northern Ohio ALS Association or to the Menorah Park Vinnie Hospice and Palliative Care Program. At this point, I ask everyone to please rise. We're going to sing the memorial prayer. And then after the memorial prayer, everyone will gather together in the recitation of the Kaddish.
שוכן במרומים המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים לנשמת Roma Shapiro, daughter of Edward and Hortense. Shalcha le'olama began Eden tehei menuchata. Anabal harachamim Astireha b'seter kenafecha le'olamim Utzror bitzror החיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום, בשלום על משכבה ונאמר אמן.
Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to the soul of our most beloved Roma Shapiro, the daughter of Edward and Hortense, who has gone into her world and for whom we pray. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bonds of everlasting life. God is her inheritance, and may she rest in peace. And we say together, Amen. At this point now, the family will recite Kaddish, the first mitzvah, as a mourner. Everyone should have their Kaddish cards. Say Kaddish with us? Yeah. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rava. Ve'aman divra chirutei, ve'amlich malchutei, ve'chaye hon, ovyomei hon, ochaye zechol beit Yisrael, bagala, odizman kariv, ve'emru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba Barak le'olam omei olmaya, Yitzbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yithaleh, v'yithalal, shmei zekudesha v'reichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran be'alma, ve'emru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'emru amen. Osei shalom b'mamav, hu ya'asei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'emru amen. Together we'll sing the last line. Osei shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. So this time we'll be concluding the service. We can let the mourners go first. We'll let Darcy and her family move forward. And you may wish to stay in your place, and as they go past you, will you say the traditional words of Hamakom Yenachem Etchem Pesach Shai V'Elizir Mishlayim, or you can just say in your own words that God should comfort you, God should strengthen you, you should be blessed in your loss. You guys basically can just go. That's it. You guys are awesome. So we say our condolences again to the mourner.
Here, hold it. I can do it.
family invites everyone again to the residence until 3 p.m. 9 Saratoga Court.
Okay. I can do it.
All right.
Was there one sitting way down there? Uh-huh. Says deteriorated.
The car is now right there.